Welcome to Tech Talk. I'm your host, Nadirah Nazeer. Did you know that $31 billion worth of edible food goes to waste in Canada annually? Our guest today is on a mission to rescue these food. Chef Jagger Gordon is on a food rescue mission since 2014 after he witnessed the copious amount of food going to waste following every catering event he hosted. Jagger decided to open a pop-up restaurant in Toronto. Within 3 hours, he served over 300 meals to the community for free, with food that would have otherwise been destined for the landfill. Feed It Forward took place in 2015. Chef Jagger's entrepreneurial spirit took shape, and he started at the grassroots level. With a small army of dedicated volunteers serving over 1,200 people a hot meal during the Christmas of 2016. In 8 short months, Feed It Forward has become a well-known name not only in Toronto but also in cities and towns nationwide. Chef Jagger, welcome to the show.
That's a beautiful introduction, and thank you.
I'm very honored to have you today. I have been following you on Facebook, and I'm very impressed with what you've been doing. So I know it all started in 2014. So what kind of gave you that ambition to say, you know what, I'm going to take this on as a mission?
After noticing the copious amounts of food being wasted was one of my tactics. It was a thought that I had to come about of creating a new dynamic instead of throwing it away, to utilize it and give back to people. But what I didn't see was who the people were. And when the people started arriving, then I started noticing who my audience was going to be. And I was really concerned. And it was really eye-awakening to understand that the youth, the children, the single families, the elderly, you name that person that walks by you in the street, and they would probably be that person. So 1 in 7 people that are through Canada are living some form of insecurity. But what I didn't notice is that 1 in 4 children here in Toronto alone were living or missing a meal throughout the week.
Oh, wow. And I read through your bio that there was a trailer. Is it a trailer or a container? Shipping container that you turned into a soup kitchen.
Mm-hmm. It's actually called the soup bar.
Okay.
And that soup bar allowed 200 to 300 people a day obtain nutritionally balanced meals. And, from working on the streets continuously and giving back to people in need on a daily basis, I had to come up with some form of brick and mortar. Unfortunately, not having a budget or a sponsor or having the financing behind it, I was only able to obtain the shipping container. Creating that dynamic and offering those meals to people, again, woke me up and understood that the children that were coming through it, that were going to school hungry, going through their lunch program with hungry, and then coming home to an empty fridge, going hungry. So I had to come up with another idea, and that other idea was to start growing our own food. So Greenwood Farms in Whitby donated 200 acres to us. And I started putting together a full army of volunteers where we started basically planting and harvesting up to 20,000 pounds that year. Through the soup bar, we had the soup, salad, sandwiches, and beverages, but then we started offering fresh produce, organic produce. Then we started reaching out to further into the community and understanding that there was more of a need for a healthier lifestyle.
So you also have a store, Pay What You Can.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get the idea of not just serving the food, but also have a place where they can pick up food and pay whatever they can?
It's always great to go into a grocery store and shop through it. You're always concerned also what you're spending inside of it. And my philosophy of grocery shopping in one of that stores is to shop on the outside aisles because everything is fresh. And everything on the inside is where the cheaper processed food is. We sometimes are subjected to a limited budget where we have to have a processed food diet. But now what I thought is why not open up a brick and mortar, which is a store, and offer, fresh organic produce to anyone that needs it. If you're willing to pay for it or not, it doesn't matter. So the principle behind the Pay What You Can or Donate What You Can system at the grocery store is we rescue food. And throughout Toronto, we rescue thousands of pounds a day and place it back onto our shelves and give back to people in need. What does that mean? Rescuing food. Well, every grocery store has a policy. Every food manufacturer has a policy. Think about a food manufacturer who makes tofu burgers. Those tofu burgers, if they weren't the right color because of the batch that they made, they would destroy it. Well, rather than having it destroyed, they can now call us up and we divert it from a landfill and feed people in need. Imagine a grocery store that has 500 pounds of vegetables that are looking blemished. Blemish meaning a wrinkle or a bruise on it or something. But if there was one wrinkle or one bruise in a bag full of something, that they would throw the whole bag away.
It doesn't look too pretty. It doesn't look pretty enough to be sold.
That's right. So that princess food, we rescue, we put it back onto our shelves and give it back to people. Yes, we might take out that blemished item that's in that bag, but we'll cut around it and we'll utilize it either A, into nutritionally balanced meals that we offer at the feedthefuture.ca program that feeds many students and elderly with, or we'll use it and make it into dog and cat food, because not only that, people are hungry, but their pets might be hungry too. And then we have to think about who eats first. Is it the pet or the owner?
That's right. That's great. I didn't know that you actually reutilize some of that food for pets. How many participating manufacturers and stores do you have today that are working with you to rescue their food?
I have 11 programs in different sectors that I'm working with continuously. What I do is I take each sector for a year's process to showcase the sustainability behind it. Through that, I've progressed into what's called the Culinary Federation, where I'm involved with all these top great chefs here around Canada and around the world, who are actually noticing how we can make a difference together. So from the food manufacturing, from the food distributions, from the retail, wholesale, and farming aspect, I have it all covered. I would say by the next 4 or 5 months, I'm going to start releasing those statistics and showcasing how those programs are going to come to light. But what's at light right now is how to divert food from landfills, put it back onto the tables that are struggling with food insecurities.
So how many soup bar and those grocery stores you have today?
As 6 months ago, from June, I opened up the first pay what you can free grocery store, bakery, and coffee shop. We have now presently, we have the soup bar, which is at Humber College, North Campus, where it allows up to 900 students a day get a free meal or pay what you can system, because a hungry stomach is a hungry mind, and we need to focus on our youth. Let them worry about their scholastics and not their next meal.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of people that are challenging that, saying that a student or a youth should be challenged to struggle to find their next meal, to toughen them up, give them some tough skin type deal. Well, the accessibility to food wastage, the accessibility to helping another and allowing them to grow prosperously through their education is what my focus is. So shame on you for trying to stop us.
Well, yeah, tell that to the viewers, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, every student, if they're struggling with food insecurities, we should be able to feed them. And why would you ever try to even publicly stop someone like that? I mean, let the students thrive and strive through their minds. Because a hungry, starving stomach is a hungry, starving mind, and we don't want that. They're our future. We need to invest in them. Yes, we can give them a handout, but my theory also is not giving a fish to someone, but teaching them how to fish for a lifetime. So through the programs that I offer through the scholastic side of it, if they were obtaining a free meal, they have the option to come into my classroom, which is my kitchen. I have 2 industrial kitchens where I hold sustainability classes, where I actually teach students, elderly, anyone that has no knowledge through the kitchen but wants to learn something, how to give back to the community also.
That is really great. That sounds also very sustainable. Before we go on a quick break, I just want to share that for the past Thanksgiving, you were actually providing basket of a meal to everybody, which was really nice. And I know there was some of them that was left. You just left it outside, and you kind of sent a message to Facebook and telling anybody who cannot afford to have a Thanksgiving meal to come over to the store and provided them that meal. It's really good to kind of see with seasonality, with different things. You're not only trying to kind of feed them, but making sure they're having a great Thanksgiving with their family and not having to kind of figure out where that meal is going to come from.
It's a very sensitive area that you just touched. No one's talked about it since. So thanks for bringing that up. You know, during the holidays, no matter who you are, we all have time to share and break bread together? And when does one share at the most time is at the table with their families? So we want to be able to offer, a decent warm meal for someone to break bread to their children or to their loved ones. And through at least Thanksgiving, they would have that option. We did that to hundreds of people. We delivered and gave the availability through our store. But what was better was the people that weren't able to come out to our store or were not able to reach, we left many boxed, and I'm talking full meals for up to up to 6 people, a full turkey dinner or whatever they needed to feed their family with for that day and the next day, actually.
That is absolutely beautiful. So, but stay with us. We're going to be talking about what's upcoming with Chef Jagger, especially how you can volunteer and support this great cause coming and some of the event that's coming for the Christmas. So we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Imagine not worrying about how you're going to feed your family or yourself today. Or imagine having perfectly good food that is no longer needed. Well, Feed It Forward has created the world's first free food app. This app will allow anyone to upload a picture and information on the type and quantity of food to offer someone surrounding them. This app will give anyone around the world a free chance to obtain food from home cooks, restaurants, markets, farmers, and any other sources of edible products. This app will also have a pinning map that will indicate the types, how many portions, times, and all the locations of the food available. The Feed It Forward app will also have a carbon footprint calculator that will calculate the amount of emissions being saved from the atmosphere when each accepted product is diverted from landfills. And it will also showcase the local landfill it is being saved from. It's time to divert food from landfills and feed all the hungry bellies around the world. Please support www.feeditforward.ca and make a donation today.
Losing weight and feeling fit is a simple 3-point process: diet, exercise, and a weight reduction supplement. VegiSlim by Greenish is a Health Canada approved weight management formula that's effective, safe, vegetarian, and natural to use. Combined with the right diet and exercise plan, VegiSlim will bring you back onto the path of healthy living.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Chef Jagger Gordon talking about food rescue and Feed It Forward program. So in the first segment, we talk about all the great initiative and what you've done and how it all started. So I know that's not easy, and I know that's a lot of effort on your part. So let's talk about some of the hurdles that you've come across to be able to make this thing that should be a normal thing for everybody to do, but it's not so normal because clearly you've run across a lot of challenges.
Challenges is what it was, which is the past tense. So with like any challenge in life, you have to look at the end result. Looking at the end result and bringing yourself forward to there. There was a lot of pillars and things obstacles that I was going to be faced with. So what I decided is to conquer it before it even came to light.
Okay.
Hence example, funding. How do I take my end result and bring it forward and figure out how I'm going to finance this whole thing? Well, I said that, I'll work twice as hard. As a social enterprise, as a caterer, all my catering is reinvested into this program. It allowed me to give me the freedom to explore every avenue and to be accountable for my own mistakes and not have to explain anyone that would be supporting that. We haven't failed yet. We haven't looked back and said, oh, we'll change that plan, because anything that we've started since the beginning of this, we've only moved forward quickly. But the things that do challenge us, A, is financing, of course, because you get to a certain level, you need to explore and start hiring people. And especially as 786 volunteers in my program, we're still all volunteers. And we're a federal non-for-profit waiting for our charitable status. And we do have charitable access, which is beautiful, because if anybody did want to make a donation, we'll give you a taxable receipt. But moving forward on that, the obstacles was explaining to every single person that I've come in contact with, if it's institutional-wise, corporate, or even to the person on the street, allowing them to know that when you donate food and you acquire it, there's no liability. Because there's a stigma where people think that, oh, if I give you food, I'm going to get sued.
Yeah, is that a misnomer? Is that
wrong? Yeah, it's a faux pas. Like, why are we lying? So what it is
how did that get started?
so
then? How did this
1994, a law was in place to protect us as consumers, as donors. As if I were to give you something that's in good faith and good standing, there's no liability. Right? So what that means is if I have a truckload of food, or I have a simple apple, and I'm offering it to you out of good faith, and knowing it's perfectly edible, you can never be sued or be liable for it,
Okay.
providing you're not selling it.
Okay.
Right? You don't want to be able to remanufacture someone else's food and start selling it.
So donating the food is allowed, and you're not liable if that person gets sick, because there's a lot of stigma out there saying, hey, I don't want to donate it because in case that person gets sick, I'd be personally liable for it.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And that's another way that Feed It Forward's taken the initiative by saying, you know what, if you want to donate food and not have anything to worry about, we'll take the liability on.
Excellent.
And I'll challenge anyone that has any food that they're throwing out in the garbage that's in good standing at that present time, I will question them and ask them why. Ignorance is a bliss. Like, people need to really understand themselves and where they stand for our environment too. Because we're complacent. Canadians, and if not the world, whoever decides to throw away food can actually have a new option of not throwing it out but giving it back to people, especially if they're educated on the legal matters of it. Now, who stops us is the insurance companies. They're the ones that say, yes, we can get sued. Well, we can get sued for walking and tripping, or for anything. But let's deal with the food wastage and the food hunger crisis that we're dealing at hand here.
I truly believe that there's enough food in this world to feed everybody. It's just a lack of distribution, and maybe there's way too much in certain areas, and then it ends up in landfill. So you mentioned two things that are a hurdle: a monetary perspective, that at the end of the show here will show you where you can go on the website and where you can donate money. And then you mentioned the misnomer, misconception that people are going to get sued if they provide the food. What are the other hurdles that you've come across?
The education part for people. We need to evaluate who and how we can make a difference together. Like, by collectively putting everyone together and saying that we need to make a mission to start educating our population. Because through the youth especially, nobody seems to understand what our future entails with food. It's just a given that we always have great food available to us. There's always something that's available at a grocery store. Well, let's go back to the days where, there wasn't everything, or countries that still don't have access to that. We should really be more involved in keeping things local. Through the seasonal change here in Canada, the logistics of things that it takes to move from one product to another, to a country, there's this whole carbon footprint we're leaving behind also. So that's a hurdle. The hurdle for me is the impact we're having on our environment. The environmental impact that us, as we shop at our grocery store not knowing where the product comes from, is the educational part we all need to know. When you see a tomato that says grown in Mexico, well, how much effort and time was that put into?
The carbon footprint, yeah.
Right. So let's think about how we can find that greenhouse that we have 50 kilometers away, that we can get the same tomato probably for the same price.
Yes. And the statistic from what I read was 31 billion for Canada. I don't know if you know what is it worldwide. I'm sure it's much substantial.
Keeping it in our own backyards at $31 billion, that's enough food to feed world hunger times 3 a year.
Yeah.
Right? That is also in our landfills the equivalent of putting 2 million new vehicles on the road. Imagine just the food that we can eat that can feed world hunger times 3 is the equivalent of putting 2 million new vehicles, emissions from it, on the roads here in Canada every year. Where are we going wrong with this? I'll take a new car. But the thing is I'd rather feed someone with the food that we're putting into the landfills. I mean, World hunger times 3 just in Canada alone.
That's really crazy. And also for our viewers that's watching out there, I think we all know there are ways, but we don't really kind of put it in the big holistic kind of view about what is it really doing. So this is your camera. So tell the viewers today, what is it that they can do today to help reduce that landfill, food going to the landfill?
When you go to the grocery store, shop for what you need, and then whatever is left over, chop it up and put it into the freezer. If it's the end parts that you normally would not eat, well then put them into a stock, which means the base of a soup or a sauce. Utilize every part of the animal and every part of that beautiful vegetable that came from the earth to give back to you. I mean, it's about saving your money, saving the environment, and also making your stomach full. So the more we can utilize and stop being complacent. If something starts to look a little, black on the edges or there's a bruise, cut it out. Don't throw away the whole object or the parcel of it. Just utilize what you can out of it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes when something is bruised, it tastes amazing.
Mm-hmm. And this is coming from a chef, so you've cooked a lot of great meals. Mm-hmm. This is just kind of small little thing that you can start doing at home, and also do not shop when you're hungry.
Oh, that's brilliant. Do not shop when you're hungry or under the influence, right? Sugar will drive you to have more, so keep that in mind and other things too. But my theory is exactly. When you're hungry, you're shopping with your stomach, and and you're shopping with your eyes too. So, visually, everything looks appealing. But what you should think about is plan your meals, planning ahead, planning your family's meals and your budget. You'll be surprised how far you can go if you plan your meals ahead and what products you need, and looking for things that are on sale. Going into your grocery store and asking where's the blemish section. Where is the stuff that are the day olds? Because they have these sections. They just don't put them right in the middle of the aisle. You have to find them. So if you ask where those products are that are usually 10 items in one bag that they put together because they're starting to look wrinkled and they're reduced at 50%, that's the best thing to make tomato sauce or whatever you're going to be. Or, just think economically wise that you can make a difference, and for your family, saving money.
And think about it, guys, you're actually saving money. Yeah. By reducing those waste, you're actually saving money. Every time you're throwing something, that's throwing, whether it's $2 or $3 it's cost you, would you ever take your money and throw it in the garbage? Never.
Wow.
But think about it that way when you're throwing that food.
You're brilliant, because this is a great thing to touch. Imagine working hard all week long, getting that paycheck or that instant deposit, whatever it is, going to the grocery store, pushing that cart all the way around, filling things up with your favorite items, pushing it around, paying for it with that hard-earned money you get. You put it into your cupboards, you're putting it into the fridge. 3 days later, you're looking into your fridge, the broccoli's wilting, the lettuce is wilting, the green beans are shriveling, the packages in your fridge are in your cupboard are starting to say the optimal freshness date's coming to its end. What do? You start taking them all and start throwing things away. Well, stop it, because that's your hard-earned money that you've worked hard for all week long, and you're just throwing away cash. If you want to, and ruining our environment, but if you want to save some money and you want to do that, just buy less and throw us the money.
Yes,
donate the money. We all can use it, right?
Donate the money, absolutely.
I can cook a few things with that money, thank you.
Yeah.
But no, save on your money, shop for what you need only, and think and meal plan. Meal plan's a really big thing to do, and it's the future. It really is. Think of yourself and your family, and stop throwing away your food and money.
And here's the reality. The cost of food has gone up. Mm-hmm. Year over year. Mm-hmm. But people's salary has not gone up at the same rate as what food cost is. Yep. So by really being conscious about what you're buying at the grocery store, doing those meal plans, you're actually going to be saving money. Mm-hmm. So you just have to give that an effort. Yeah. Any last before we actually go to a commercial?
Yeah, it's the statistics came in through CBC that our CTV actually, I think, launched it just 2 days ago, saying that next year, and very shortly, all vegetables are going to go up 4%. Yeah, so you need to really focus and concentrate on what you are purchasing, because in a large family that does add up, and as annually it does add up.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to be right back with Chef Jagger. Stay tuned.
Imagine not worrying about how you're going to feed your family or yourself today, Or imagine having perfectly good food that is no longer needed. Well, Feed It Forward has created the world's first free food app. This app will allow anyone to upload a picture and information on the type and quantity of food to offer someone surrounding them. This app will give anyone around the world a free chance to obtain food from home cooks, restaurants, markets, farmers, and any other sources of edible products. This app will also have a pinning map that will indicate the types, how many portions, times, and all the locations of the food available. The Feed It Forward app will also have a carbon footprint calculator that will calculate the amount of emissions being saved from the atmosphere when each accepted product is diverted from landfills. And it will also showcase the local landfill it is being saved from. It's time to divert food from landfills and feed all the hungry bellies around the world. Please support www.feeditforward.ca and make a donation today.
Losing weight and feeling fit is a simple 3-point process: diet, exercise, and a weight reduction supplement. VegiSlim by Greenish is a Health Canada approved weight management formula that's effective, safe, vegetarian, and natural to use. Combined with the right diet and exercise plan, VegiSlim will bring you back onto the path of healthy living.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Chef Jagger. So next, let's talk about what's upcoming. I know there is an event, a Christmas event that's happening soon.
Yeah. So, over the Christmas times, like we were talking about earlier about the holiday season, Christmas time is a very depressing time for many that live alone and isolated and such. What we are doing this year, as we have in the past couple of years, we're hosting a holiday event where one can come in, obtain a festive dinner, Christmas, and see Santa if they like, and tote their children along, and have these children go into a toy room, pick whatever toy they want, have a beautiful Christmas dinner, speak to Santa, and listen to a live band. And that last year was over 2,200 people, plus we delivered meals to all others. Now, where I'm getting at with this is we're hosting a spot where you can come with your family if you don't or can't afford to host a Christmas dinner for yourself or for others. Bring your child or whoever it be. If you're alone, you can spend it with our volunteers or us. Sit down, have a great meal, and if not, we also have the capabilities of delivering meals to you. So if you're in that hospital, visiting someone that's over the holidays and Christmas Day especially, or you are in the hospital, or you're in a retirement home, or you're isolated or immobile, we will bring you a meal. We will sit down with you for a few minutes and share and break bread with you. We are doing over 4,000 people this Christmas Day.
Okay.
We will be at the Queen West Community Health Center, which is at Queen and Bathurst, between 12 and 4 p.m. hosting this meal and delivering meals throughout all the GTA.
Okay. And maybe at the end of the show, you can give us that information when and where for the dinner, for them to bring their family. It's really nice that you guys are also giving out toys. Santa's going to be there to provide toys for the kids.
Why would we not, right?
Yeah.
Also on December 16th, between 12 and 4 p.m. at the Dufferin Mall, we're hosting a Chef's Challenge that's a fundraiser. So all that turkey meat that we have in the festive seasons, we don't know what to do after it. Well, the chefs are actually having a Chef's Challenge where these three top chefs, it was myself, but now I'm going to be the MC of it, and we are going to showcase how to utilize the turkey meat in different recipes.
Okay.
The fun part is that all the audience, up to 300 people to begin with, will be able to sample and judge each chef's creations. And the winner, of course, will get the Feed It Forward's Top Chef Award at the end, but we're also fundraising.
Okay.
So we are able to, anyone that comes and participates will be able to help us fundraise and donate what they can, either an unwrapped toy or something in monetary sense that will help us advance for the Christmas day, because feeding 4,000 people, needs everyone's help as a community to work together.
Absolutely. And are you going to have that on Facebook Live for the 16th?
Yes, we're gonna the 16th and the 25th.
Okay. Because especially for folks out there, turkey, there's always a lot of leftover turkey. At least they get some ideas from the chef as to what to do. Yeah.
And the fun part is also you don't even know what type of like for me, I'm Indian cooking and Thai is my favorite. As a chef, I'm multicultural, but butter, you can make butter turkey instead of butter chicken. I mean, it's just about saucing, for me, saucing the meat, the proteins that it would be. So I'm looking forward to see what my chefs are going to come up with, but I know what I would have prepared.
And so you're recycling it in a whole new meal.
Right.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah. And giving something new as a flavor profile, because we're all complacent and stuck in our little ways, but imagine getting a new one of 3 recipes to choose from to actually try different meals.
Yeah, turn a traditional turkey to maybe an Indian style, to maybe an Asian style with some soya sauce or sandwiches or paninis. The possibilities are endless.
That's my favorite saying.
Yeah. So I know you have a great app. I'm excited about this app, by the way, and we're going to show a little bit of that clip at the end of the show. So tell us about the app. This is the first time ever that you're created. I don't think there's any app like this today, globally.
No, so the Feed It Forward app allows people to acquire free food around the world. Imagine having that tomato or piece of pizza, or even having that truckload of apples that you can't use. So here in Canada, we throw away everything. If it doesn't look right, we throw it away. If we can't use it, we throw it away. Well, it's about recycling. So this app allows anyone that has food as the donor to upload it. So you take a picture of it, it uploads onto the app, like Uber. It shows you little flags of everywhere where it's going to be and what time you can pick it up. And it actually tells you the contents of it, who's giving it. And once you say, I like to acquire it, it'll tell you exactly, the certain place and time you can retain it.
Yeah.
And you can open a line of communication with the person who's donating it. So what that means is, I have food, I am showing you where I'm giving it. A person who's on the receiving end says, wow, I'm a vegetarian. There's a meal available for 4 people at this spot. I'm going to accept it, and then you're able to obtain it. But that's the world. Because imagine everyone that has something left in their fridge or made too much of it. They just had a party.
They have leftovers from the parties.
Or you're a restaurant even, and you have 4 pieces of pizza left, and you know you're going to throw it away. Well, hey, you know what? Package it up, put it on the curb, and make sure that person gets it at that time.
That's right.
Or if you're in a condo, and you have a head of lettuce that's left over and you're not going to use it all, put it in a bag, leave it with the concierge.
That's right.
And have someone pick it up. I mean, there's so many different variables we can deal with, but it's not only about saving the food and feeding the bellies. It's about the emissions that the landfills are producing in the global footprint or the greenhouse footprint we're leaving globally here. So what happens now is if we're diverting all this food from the landfills by giving it back into the social system, we're actually saving it from the atmosphere. So it has a carbon footprint calculator for every item that's being diverted from that app, and it'll showcase which cities actually challenged and who's actually diverting more food from landfills and saving that per pound from the atmospheres. Absolutely. Which is great. So carbon footprint calculator, it's calculating how many people we're feeding, how many pounds we're saving from the local landfills, which it'll showcase which local landfill also it's being saved from. So there's this whole aspect of how we can do better for our planet and for ourselves.
So there's a nice domino effect of the positivity in giving back and donating. And if you're worried about privacy, to your point, if you're living in a building, they don't have to come to your apartment. You can just live it with a concierge. You don't have to have the person come to your house. You can pick the location and have them come to the local Tim Hortons or Starbucks that's in the area.
You are hired. It's like Kijiji. I mean, you're going to meet somebody sooner or later. How you meet them is up to you.
That's right.
And the food prospect is you just leave it where you need to leave it. Or leave it with somebody or somewhere.
Yeah, so you will have full privacy. You control this, which is amazing. So tell us when that launch.
We're launching it for Christmas. So we've done our soft launch.
Okay.
We have our network throughout the world utilizing it, seeing how it's working. We are successful. So we're now ready to give the world a Christmas gift.
Excellent, excellent. And at the end of the show, we'll have the little clip about what the app is called. If you have Android or if you have Apple, it will show you which app, what's the name of the app that you can download and start using. Especially the holiday around the corners, there's going to be a lot of leftovers. If you want to share it with people around you, you can at a location that is convenient for you. So as we're wrapping up here, what is your call for action for our viewers?
The call for action is we need support. We're looking for people that want to donate food, that for people that have food that is sitting on skids in your warehouses and it's coming to an optimal freshness state. Let's talk about the optimal freshness state and the Good Samaritan's Law. You know, if you have products that are coming to expiry and you know you can't put it back onto the shelves, we have a solution. We have a way to utilize it and give it back to people in need. And nor should you ever think about throwing it away. By the truckloads, we divert weekly. And we have homes for everything, from pet food to, even to clothing. We know that's another thing also, is clothing through seasons have to be destroyed. Well, we can figure out ways not destroying it. We can give it back to people. So yes, call us or look at feeditforward.ca and make a monetary donation also, because we need support. We want you to volunteer also and join the force and watch where all of our money goes, because we're too transparent. It's amazing to see how well we are doing with what little we do have. You know, it's really incredible to be able to take feeditforward.ca to where we're at now, but we are now moving forward and internationally. And I have to give gratitude to Rotary Club 7070, which is, an affiliate of Rotary International. This team has taken on polio around the world, and now they're taking on Feed It Forward. Thank you for supporting us. Rogeri CPA is a great accounting firm who's actually now supporting us to put 2 new vehicles on the road that we can rescue more food and feeds thousands of people a day with it. Thank you.
Excellent. And if you want to become a sponsor, please, is it feeditforward.ca?
Yes.
Check out feeditforward.ca to become a sponsor. I think this is an absolutely great initiative. And if you want to become a volunteer, check out the website. You can always donate. And also take a look, download the app that's coming up very soon, where you can actually reduce the carbon footprint, avoid food from going to the landfill, and actually make sure that you feed a belly instead of it going to waste. Gordon.
You know what else we have, though?
Yes.
Is the team building programs for volunteer. And the corporate level where we all want to have some form of team building. Well, we can do up to 60 people in my kitchens at one time or another to showcase how you can take food, rescue it, utilize it, put it back in nutritionally balanced meals like the feeditfuture.ca program, and distribute it out, give it back to people in need. I mean, it's a great program to have families put together, volunteers, or even corporate events.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest today. Really appreciate it. We've learned quite a lot. And it sounds like maybe we should have you on again after the app to see the performance of the app, how that is doing, and engagement. Please check out feeditforward.ca. You can get engaged in many different ways. And keep in mind, today it's actually about food, but tomorrow the possibilities are endless, whether it's clothing, whether it's things that you have around the house that you don't need, but a newcomer might be able to find that very useful. So definitely a great opportunity here for you to connect with somebody by providing those products for free. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And I also want to thank my fashion stylist, Susie Tomasi. And a portion of her proceeds goes to the Women's Shelter. And her website is susieqjewels.com. Thank you again, Jagger, for coming. Please follow me on Instagram, subscribe to TAG TV. Thank you everybody, and talk soon.